Okay, so those of you that are familiar with single action handguns, revolvers, know that the story that Alec Baldwin is telling is an impossible story. It can't happen the way he is describing it. It is impossible for a single action revolver to go off on its own just by simply pulling the hammer and not pulling the trigger. And I'm going to demonstrate that. So this is a old Colt 22. This was actually the first gun that I ever shot. I was only 4 years old when I shot this gun. That was a long time ago. But it is a single action, as you can see. So a couple of things about single actions. You have different places the hammer can rest. So you can have it rest fully up against the frame, cylinder, firing pin, etc. That is typically where you never keep it once the gun is loaded. You place it on the second notch, you'll hear a click. Okay, that is basically a safety for a single action revolver. What that does is that prohibits the gun that if it were to accidentally be dropped, the hammer would not strike the firing pin and cause the gun to accidentally go off. Then you have a second click, and what that is for loading. That allows you to turn the cylinder to load it. You open up the loading port, you place your cartridges inside, and that is how you load it. It is also, what Alec failed to do, is check it to see if it was empty first when he was first given the gun. Then you have a full cock. So on a single action revolver, if you attempt to pull back the hammer and let it go, it will not fire. You can see it will not hit the firing pin, even if you bring it back farther. Some people are saying, well, you know, he could have pulled it almost all the way back and let it go. That will not happen, okay? Even if you bring it back all the way. So there is no position where you can let this hammer go and it will strike the firing pin. You have to pull the trigger, okay? If I'm holding the trigger, then I can fire the gun, okay? Also have another single action revolver, same thing. So you have resting against the frame, you have the safety, basically keeps it from hitting the firing pin. Then you have the safety where you're able to load it, then full cock. But again, you cannot just pull the hammer and the gun will go off. It cannot happen. You have to be pulling the trigger. Okay, so the story that Alec is telling is impossible. It is wrong, it is incorrect, and he is hoping that he will just be able to claim his innocence.